or I didn't see it in real time. Like I went to your page for some, just see what you were up to, and I saw you antagonizing Hutch.
Hutch said Trump was Hitler, and Trump won. Ipso facto, electric chair for Hutch. Me, Bitcoin to 100,000. Hutch, prison, eating maggot food. Hutch has to go to therapy to learn about his hateful speech that he's doing. Me, moisturize, flourishing, Mexican. Hutch, white, devil.
Pals, I think you're really going to enjoy this video. If you do, please hit the like and subscribe button and comment button. It really helps out. I keep getting messages from PKA fans that are like, why did you duck Dick Masterson? You pussy. Why didn't you show up and do PKA? And I'm like, I didn't, nobody asked me. I would have said yes. Like I would have said, yeah, I would have agreed. Yeah, but they were talking, he was talking that over on PKA.
Dude, I think I only sent 2 Pepes. You sent at one point, you were like, dude, he won Hispanics. And I sent like the sombrero Pepe. And then afterward, you're like, he also won the Arabs. And I sent some like, he did like win guy in he won Hispanic men. And then he said he won Arabs in Deerfield or whatever, the Dearborn, Michigan. And I sent one back like a Pepe with a turban and like a bomb vest.
I'm not sure if that's true. Is it true that he won Hispanic men? Is that true?
It's all fair. I never fussed for 1 millisecond because 4 years ago I sent a meme and it was in Star Wars, and there's this scene at the end of Star Wars where Poe, who's like an X-wing pilot, is like, sorry guys, I tried, but there's just too many of them. And then in Star Wars, like the cavalry comes, they're like, but there's more of us. And it's like destroyer shows up and it says Pennsylvania on it, and another giant ship comes on and it says Georgia on it. And then they're like, all these people, I found it inspiring. I do right now, but that's not what happened this time.
No.
I lost this time.
Oh. Man, politics is
like I want to get pissed at Dick, like I want to be irritated, but it's like I would for sure be doing the same thing. I mean, let's be honest, it's irritating, but I'd be doing the same thing, if not more. I would be gloating at minimum at the same level. It would be the same level of gloating.
Fun as long as you don't get like
too invested
in it. At the end of the day,
I've been getting extremely invested in it and getting very personal with everyone. I'll go to my friends' post timelines and antagonize them and tell them they're going to prison and they don't know what they're talking about. And if they're so smart, then why are
My issue with Dick was when we had our conversation on PKA, it seemed to me that he was doing this thing that some people do where they sort of hide behind sarcasm. So they're doing these things where they're like cracking jokes and they're putting like tons of pepper on everything they say, and it allows them to not take a serious position basically on anything. It kind of gives you wiggle room to get out of it. You don't actually have to like stand for anything. But he did indicate that he believed that there was massive voter fraud in 2020. He said, you know, it's just common sense, bro. And didn't even try to come up with a good answer for, you know, why Trump watched his supporters beat the shit out of cops for 3 hours before asking them to leave. He just didn't make any kind of an effort to like meaningfully address those questions. And then kind of hid behind the like super exaggerated sense of humor.
Are they going into Gitmo? And if they don't shut their mouth, and it feels me, I felt a euphoric pride that I'm going to describe as a Trumpomania for 8 days, and it's not going away. And the only
wild?
It's running wild in me. The Patriots are now in control.
Feral with Patriots. I saw you.
I'm going to go to the fair. I'm not even going to say it's gay. The Trump's Patriot Fair, whatever it is, the world's.
Dude, you know what I'm doing to keep saying right now? I'm just focusing on like fitness and trying not to spend too much time on social media. Yesterday, I kind of failed. And then this morning, I failed a little bit too. But overall, I'm spending less time on social media because it's just a cesspool of the worst people you know with the dumbest takes you could possibly imagine. And also, like I said a moment ago, just being inundated with these cabinet picks that just make you just go, okay, all right, this is what we're doing now.
fair.
Oh, the
It's going to
World's
be
Fair?
cool. I'm
I
going to
saw
do it.
you antagonizing, or I didn't see it in real time. I saw, like, I went to your page for just see what you're up to, and I saw you antagonizing Hutch. And I was like,
because that person, do you see that person that and his wife and stuff? Because Trump won?
Yeah, that guy
that's because of the rhetoric that guys like Hutch have been saying, where like Trump is Hitler. That guy hears Hutch and he's like,
Have I ever said that Trump was Hitler? Have I ever said these things?
Trump's Hitler, I better than my kids, right? So the guys on Hutch and those guys, they got to cool it down. They got to really cool it down. They're putting people at risk.
So what did you say to Hutch?
Damaging rhetoric.
I think I've made jokes in the past saying that Trump is stupid Hitler, constrained by the girthy meat of American institutions. But I've never said that Trump is literally Hitler.
Did you be really understanding and say, Hutch, you must be upset to have heard this is happening?
I didn't see this mention. I, to be honest, didn't even look at mentions for probably like the first 2 or 3 days after the election. I just didn't look at them. Kept up to date on the news. But yeah,
Happened. You probably said something like that, right?
yeah, I think
you did say you were threatening democracy. I said that Trump is a threat to democracy. Yeah. If somebody loses an election and then tries to, through corrupt influence, retain control of the government, and in doing so, attempt to disenfranchise tens of millions of people, and someone whose direct influence led to violence that broke out at the Capitol while they were certifying an election, I think it's okay to say that someone poses a threat to democracy in that spot. Yeah, I feel fine saying that.
I said, like, sort of, it was like, you enjoy prison, you and your I think I said something about his wife. I don't really know. I was in a state of Trumpomania, running on fumes of patriotism. What are you looking it up?
I'm trying to find it. But you tweet a lot, so
I do tweet a lot. I've been winning a lot.
Pennsylvania natural gas just powered up.
Yeah, I'm fracked.
Well,
I'm fracked. The first time Trump won, it was like, wow, that's it's kind of unbelievable. Okay, so we don't know what to do now. But this time it's like, oh yeah, that's great. We're gonna ruin everything.
From the left perspective, the first time that Trump won, it was truly shocking and surreal. It felt like a bad acid trip. It felt like a bad acid trip. The night of the election and then the following day felt surreal in the worst kind of way. But there was a relatively quick like pushback. There were protests that broke out in the airports all over the country within like the first month of the election. And so there was it became, and then there was a women's march. It became clear like pretty much right away that there was going to be plenty of people in the country that were going to at least try to make Trump's job of corrupting the government a little bit harder. Like there was going to be pushback. This time around, the sense that I'm getting from, myself and then from other people that I'm observing is like there's a sense of just feeling defeated. There's a sense of demoralization. And it was one of my pitches to people, like, look, if we can help Kamala win, if we can do that, they're going to be so demoralized, especially if they think that we did fraud again, and they're just not going to want to participate anymore. And I feel like kind of the inverse is true right now. People are just over it right now. There's still some like resist lib stuff. And if you go on Blue Sky, it's a friendlier crowd. People seem to have better head on their shoulders on that platform. There's not as many, actually, honestly, I'm not seeing any just like crazy people on Blue Sky. Blue Sky is kind of nice. Is it an echo chamber? Probably, but like, what I don't understand at this point the value of being fed the most unhinged right-wing content you could imagine in the For You tab. Is it just my tab, or is it for the people that choose the For You tab on Twitter, is your just totally deranged? Mine is. There's a lot of accounts that are dedicated to, minorities fighting each other. like that stuff pops up. There's a lot of Tim Pool. There's a lot of like Rogan. There's a lot of Jordan Peterson. There's a lot of Ben Shapiro. But there's also a lot of like not so subtle Nazis that lament the fall of Western civilization. And, you know, it'll be like a post with like 100,000 likes and 50 reposts. It's like, why can't white people have our own country? It's like, God damn it. What? How did it come to this? I don't get any of that, but I don't consume politics on Twitter. Well, there you go. Blue Sky's nice. It just needs to be a little bit more popping. Like, it's already up to 20 million users now, which is a lot, but there's still plenty of room to grow. How many users are there on Twitter? I'm going to guess 800 million. 206 million. Huh. These numbers are from, that's from 2021. I don't know what those numbers are now. In any case, Blue Sky is growing rather quickly. It is turning into a thing. We'll see if it can sustain itself, but it does seem to be turning itself into a thing.
That you guys like. Just rank all the things that you guys like, and we're gonna dismantle them one by one, and we're gonna have a great time doing it. We're gonna have some drinks and some laughs and some memes. I was
surprised Hutch didn't block, or maybe he did block you after this. It was literally a story about a guy who.
I just didn't see the posts. Looks like he had fun though.
Who has like crazy eyes, who thought that Trump was Hitler and then he murdered his.
I do have a Blue Sky account. I just made it over the weekend. It's Hutchie the Hutch. Hutchie the Hutch.
His whole family, his wife and his 2 sons and himself. And Dick quote tweeted this and said, "This happened because of the lies and rhetoric that people like @Hutchinson spread about Trump leading up to the election. All liberal influencers."
The worst thing that you can do right now is just get super triggered on the internet. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's like that scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where Rick starts crying and Brad Pitt's character tells him to put on his sunglasses and says, "Don't cry in front of the Mexicans." Don't cry in front of the MAGA people. Don't lose your for Christ's sakes. Have some goddamn dignity in this moment.
Should be prosecuted for murder and given life sentences.
I said executed, but then I deleted it. I'm like, they're gonna get.
You should have done the doctor disrespect.
So you went harder than this, and you decided to tamp it down.
Yeah, I said I can't put executed.
But
on there.
how do you?
I've been starting arguments in Hassan's comments for fun. That's an interesting pastime.
How do you rationalize that with Trump calling Harris a Marxist, communist, fascist, socialist?
Trump.
There is a lot of shadow boxing going on right now because, well, I mean, I can only speak for myself. I've made a concerted effort to accept the results of the election pretty much right away, and I haven't lost my on any kind of platform. I'm not, I'm not constantly vomiting on the timeline about how pissed I am that it happened. That's just not what I'm doing at all. But I do have a lot of people coming into my replies and in my YouTube comments. They're like, cry more. I'm like, I don't know who you're talking. Like, what are you seeing on my feed? The Wicked Wombat said, "Brother, there is nothing to accept. She lost by a lot." Donald Trump's popular vote victory was the closest popular vote victory, I think, in modern history. And Kamala lost by like roughly 250,000 votes in 3 swing states. So if you're trying to say that this election was a blowout, okay.
Won, Woody.
I know, but you said he needs to tone it down. But
yeah, I can say whatever I want. My guy won. I get to. We own the government, like all 3 things. So whatever we say is the correct is law.
So yeah, but it still makes you a hypocrite.
What? What a crit?
I think he meant
what are you talking about? I don't give a shit. That guy himself, and Hutch said Trump was Hitler, and Trump won. Ipso facto, electric chair for Hutch. Me, Bitcoin to 100,000. Hutch, prison, eating maggot food. Me, big parade, homeless, kicked into a hole in the middle of the desert. Hutch has to go to therapy to learn about his hateful speech that he's doing. Me, moisturize, flourishing, Mexican, Hutch, white, devil, dry skin. What is that? Does that not make? Is it making sense to you now? What the f are you talking about?
Mexican, moisturized, flourishing.
Good news, Hutch. They'll use the Texas power grid for your electric chair. The power will be out again. We can only hope, right?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
Hutch, race trader,
You know
me,
what? I'm on board.
Mexican hero,
That
patriot.
suntan lotion needing whitey.
Technically, I am a race trader with my choice of fiance. Technically, he's not lying. There's some element of truth in there.
Did you get it?
I'm learning slowly.
Did you get it? It's our rules now. We don't have to do this making sense and being consistent that you liberals have been doing, tripping us up.
No, all right, I've learned.
I get like Joker energy. It's just Joker energy. It's just straight up Heath Ledger, Dark Knight. Introduce a little anarchy. It's like the same kind of energy.
Dude, I just respect your love of the game.
Thanks.
Just going in like 8 a.m. on a Wednesday, both barrels.
Preemptively counterpunching.
Oh,
Guess
man.
what? Trump won, and it's like, what did he tweet this? 7:56 in the morning.
Some civil rights lawyer got into a big fight with me too because she's like, we have to keep men out of women's spaces, and I said we have to keep women out of men's spaces too, and she's like, bop, 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 bop. You're just saying that because I've been fighting for this for 23 years, and I'm like, bitch, all I said. So then I said, hey, enjoy men in your bathrooms, then, bitch, or something like that.
A hypocrite too, by the way.
I called her a. Yeah, but the problem is,
How old is Dick? How old is Dick Masterson? No, stop. It says 31. That's not true, right? No, that's Destiny. Wait, what? Is Dick Masterson was he in movies? There's like multiple Dick Mastersons. This is I guess this is a common name. He's the author. He's an American comedian and co-host of The Biggest Problem in the Universe with Vito. He's the author of the satirical 2008 book Men Are Better Than Women and had an appearance on Dr. Phil, on which he states he was playing a hyper-exaggerated misogynist character in a house full of other extremely prejudiced people, and says he thinks he was the only one joking. He was on Dr. Phil? What the is there footage of this? Dick Masterson in Dr. Phil number 5. How these days, right?
Straight.
Dr. Phil and Dick Masterson, the uneasy alliance. It's amazing, like, how content really hasn't changed all that much in the last 20 years or so. It's like somebody like took like the shock humor of South Park or whatever, made it their whole personality, and then just adopted that as their politics. Like, my politics is whatever triggers the people that I don't like.
is my girlfriend, is a teacher, so she wakes up at like 6:30, and I sleep like everything
problem.
wakes me up. So I'm awake at 6:30. I'm like, I gotta call someone a cocksucker on Twitter so I can go back to sleep. Oh, okay.
Smart.
Somebody's up on the East Coast, some general I can call a DEI hire.
Dude, the way it's gonna work is like genuinely within 8-10 minutes of us ending this show, I will see yet another quarrel, and it's I think you're my favorite. I think you're my favorite entire follow on Twitter because it's constant combat. Just never a day of, is anyone enjoying their weekend? No.
Dick,
No, I'm having a horrible time.
Give me an honest answer.
It's not so much like that for me anymore. Like, I would say I used to spend way too much time arguing with people on Twitter. Like, way too much. Like you need to talk to a therapist. It's like too much time. That for sure was the deal with me for a long time. So I feel like I can't judge too harshly. Man, he's in the trenches, bro. He's fighting the good fight, right?
On Twitter, do you ever get like actually bothered? I know you're playing games 99% of the time. Is it 100?
I mean, I'm bothered. I'm genuinely annoyed and angry when people are giving me sass, and I channel that into insulting them.
All right. No, I actually thought
I have very
genuinely
thin
didn't
skin,
care.
Woody. A very thin skin. That's my and no.
Well, he's self-aware.
It's very thin. I get my feelings hurt right away, and I lash out like a champion. That's what I do.
All right.
Like a gladiator.
Yes, like a gladiator.
Mine's getting thicker all the time.
I bet Dick Masterson is like a jackrabbit. You know what I mean? I'll bet you his refractory period is like 6 minutes tops.
It's never as thick as I wish it was.
Oh, that's that ketamine talking.
He's a little boy.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I look forward to seeing the administration come together because I love the memes. Someone compared it to Voldemort putting his crew of evil together. They're like, all he's missing is Nagini, which is like the big evil.
That's
like,
what the left needs to do to win people over is more Harry Potter and Hunger Games comparison. more of the gayest imaginable. Where it's like, I'm Katniss Everdeen, and it's like you're 38. It's like, you loser. You loser. You think this is the Hunger Games?
So is Katniss Everdeen.
I don't know the Hunger Games, but didn't she grow up in like a concentration camp?
More of a concentration state.
Okay. Yeah, then I don't think it's a
I think
It's
he
a
was a
good
teenager in this movie.
yeah. The person commenting this was not. The people, yeah, it's pretty gay.
I don't know what the Democrats need to do. It's their problem.
It's their problem. I'm gonna fly.
Do you see
around.
They? Did we lose Woody? Did we lose Woody? Jesus Christ. How bad is it if we lost Woody?
OC took her pronouns out of her bio.
Oh, was he never a Democrat? Was he always a registered independent or something?
Oh,
No.
Good.
yeah,
Dude.
that's the end of that. They're gonna reel it back. All the
Destiny
DEI people
said
are
it best.
fired.
Destiny is like, guys, we can win without you, but we can't win with you. And somehow that burned a hole in my brain. I'm like, yes. Oh my gosh. Like, Democrats have a branding problem. A lot of people voted for Trump because they don't like boys calling themselves girls. And that's not even a responsibility of the president. It's just a vibe. And that's
I'm going to give you guys a hot take. I don't think very many people voted because they don't like boys calling themselves girls. I don't think that was probably top of mind for very many voters out there.
why they voted that way. So Democrats, like I've told Republicans that their pro-life stance hurts them.
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
their anti-gay stance hurts them. Democrats' anti-gun stance hurts them. And their pro-trans stance, like, look, you can be pro-trans, just do it more quietly. We're trying to win a popularity contest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
just
I
go
think it
suck
might
their
actually
dicks.
be-
Keep politics
just to suck
out of
them
it.
off,
That's how
let them
Lindsay
have a good
does it.
time.
Private.
That's how Lindsay.
All I know is-
Lindsay would not suck a trans person's dick. He needs full. Man.
I think he likes a
Yeah.
Are they talking about Lindsey Graham here?
masculine
He
man.
needs to reach
He
up
needs
and
the smell.
needs to reach up and feel chest hair.
Oh, there you go. There's just like a lot of that, like a lot of victory laps like that going on social media at the moment. So to the extent that I can limit my time on social media, I think I'll probably be better off for doing that.